Bro, I just watched a foreign guy lose a 12 million baht villa in Phuket. Gone, like it never existed. And the worst part, he thought he was being smart about it. He had lawyers, he had contracts, he had all the paperwork. But he made one critical mistake that 90% of foreigners make when buying property in Thailand. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what happened to him, and more importantly, how to make sure it doesn't happen to you. Because if you get this wrong, you don't just lose money, you lose your future in Thailand. Let me hit you with something that's going to hurt. As a foreigner, you basically cannot own land in Thailand, period. I know what you're thinking, but I've seen all these YouTube videos of guys with their dream villas. Yeah, and half of those guys are using illegal structures that could land them in Thai prison. The government's already got over 46,000 companies under investigation right now. Here's what the land code actually says. Foreign nationals are prohibited from owning land. There are exactly two microscopic exceptions. Invest 40 million baht in government bonds and pray the cabinet approves you, which basically never happens, or become a BOI promoted company with massive capital requirements. So when you see that guy on Instagram posting from his beachfront property in Koh Samui, he either doesn't actually own it, he's breaking the law, or he's talking about something completely different than what you think. So what does work? What are foreigners legally allowed to own without risking a nightmare? But before you close this video thinking Thai property is impossible, there are three legitimate ways to get skin in the game. Option 1, condominiums. You can own a condo unit outright, but here's the catch nobody talks about. Foreigners can only own 49% of the total floor area in any building. If that building hits the foreign quota, you're done. No exceptions. And here's where guys get completely screwed. You must transfer the full purchase price from outside Thailand and get a foreign exchange transaction form. I watched an American guy show up at the land office in Bangkok with 8 million baht cash, trying to register his condo. They turned him away on the spot. No FET form, no ownership. 8 million baht worthless. Option 2, buildings but not land. You can own the actual structure, the house, the villa, whatever, just not the dirt underneath. Sounds weird, but it's totally legal. You just need to lease or have some other legal right to use the land. Option 3, leasehold rights. This is where it gets tricky and where that guy I mentioned lost everything. So this German businessman, let's call him Klaus, bought what he thought was a 90-year lease on a villa in Phuket. The developer showed him contracts promising 30 plus 30 plus 30 years, basically saying he'd have control for 90 years. Klaus paid 12 million baht upfront, had lawyers review everything. The contracts looked official, had all the right stamps and signatures. He moved in, started renovating, living his best life. Then in March 2025, the Thai Supreme Court dropped a bomb. They ruled that all pre-signed renewal options beyond 30 years are illegal, completely void, against public policy. Klaus's 90-year lease, actually a 30-year lease with worthless pieces of paper attached. When I talked to him last month, the landowner is demanding he either pay market rate for a new lease, which tripled in price, or get out. 12 million baht, gone. And here's the kicker. This Supreme Court decision in March 2025 invalidated thousands of these deals across Thailand. The Thai legal system doesn't care what your contract says if the structure itself is illegal. Now here's where things get really dangerous. For years, lawyers have been setting up Thai companies with nominee shareholders to help foreigners buy land. Let me be crystal clear, this is a felony. Like, go to Thai prison felony. The penalties are insane. Up to 3 years imprisonment, fines up to 1 million baht, and they confiscate your property. But here's what's really scary. The government started using AI in 2024 to hunt down these structures. They've already dissolved over 26,000 real estate companies. 26,000, and they're not done. I know a British guy who used a nominee structure to buy land in Chiang Mai in 2019, thought he was being clever. Last month, the Department of Business Development showed up at his door. His company is being investigated, and if they find he was the real owner, he loses everything and potentially faces criminal charges. The government is literally drafting a new law that would retroactively cancel all nominee transactions, even the ones signed 10 plus years ago. You don't just lose your land, you could go to prison for trying. If you're using one of these structures right now, you're playing Russian roulette with your life savings. And if that hasn't scared you off yet, good, because now we're talking about the hidden financial punches no one puts in the brochure. Let's talk about what this actually costs, because the sticker price is just the beginning. Transfer fees, 2% of appraised value, that's automatic. Stamp duty or specific business tax, another 0.5% to 3.3%. Withholding tax varies but can be brutal. Annual land and building tax, ongoing forever. For condos, add maintenance fees of 30-70 baht per square meter per month, plus a one-time sinking fund payment of 500-800 baht per square meter. But here's what really kills people: financing. Thai banks basically won't touch foreigners unless you have a long-term visa and local income. Even then, you'll be lucky to get 50-70% financing, and it comes with strings, high interest, and a ticking age clock. They want it paid off before you turn 60. That cheap 5 million baht condo, you need 2.5 million baht cash minimum, plus all those fees. You're looking at 3 million baht out of pocket easy, and that's if everything goes smoothly. If there's a mistake in the paperwork or the developer delays registration, your whole deal could get frozen in legal limbo for months. Bangkok is relatively clean. Established developers, proper legal infrastructure, but Phuket, Pattaya, Chiang Mai, dude, these places have been lawless for years. The government is specifically targeting these tourist areas now. In Phuket alone, they found projects built on forest reserve land, developers who disappeared with people's money, and hundreds of illegal nominee companies. I heard about one development called Peaks Residences. They sold units to foreigners, took their money, then the government revoked the construction license because it was built on protected forest land. Buyers got civil court judgments, but good luck actually getting your money back. And here's something that'll blow your mind. Some of these developers just change their company name and start selling again. Same people, same sketchy practices, different letterhead. I also know about a land project in Chiang Mai where foreign investors are still tied up in court battles 3 years later. The developer promised clear titles, took everyone's money. Then it turned out half the land had ownership disputes going back decades, millions tied up in legal fees, and most of those guys will never see their money again. What happens when you die? This is where it gets really dark. If you own a condo and your kids are foreign, they might not be able to inherit if the building is at the foreign quota. They have 1 year to sell or they lose it. If you somehow own land through a Thai spouse and they die first, you have 1 year to sell unless you can get special permission from the Ministry of Interior. Spoiler alert, they almost never give permission. I know an American retiree whose Thai wife died unexpectedly. She owned their house in Hua Hin. He's been fighting for 2 years to keep it, spending more on lawyers than the house is worth. He'll probably lose. Even with a Thai will, the inheritance process here isn't automatic. It can take years, and the land office still has final say. If you're still serious about this after everything I just told you, here's how to do it right. Step 1, get a real Thai lawyer, not some consultant, not your buddy's recommendation, a legitimate law firm that specializes in foreign property deals. Step 2, stick to condominiums in established buildings. It's not as sexy as a villa, but you actually own it and it's legal. Step 3, verify everything. Check the developer's track record, make sure the building has all permits, confirm the foreign quota isn't maxed out. Step 4, document your money trail properly. That FET form isn't optional. Without it, you own nothing. Step 5, plan your exit strategy. How will you sell? How will you get your money out? What happens if you die? Let me say something that might piss off a few agents out here. Renting in Thailand might be the smartest decision you ever make. You don't deal with transfer taxes. You don't deal with the land office. You don't deal with legal ambiguity, inheritance problems, or getting priced out when the market spikes. You keep your liquidity. You keep your freedom. You can move cities, chase opportunities, or just bounce if things go sideways. You can rent beachfront luxury in Thailand for a fraction of what it would cost you to own a studio in the West. I know guys living in 60,000 baht per month penthouses, fully furnished, gym, pool, ocean view, and they pay zero property tax, zero maintenance, zero stress. Owning, that's permanent stress. Renting, that's permanent options. Just make sure the lease is in your name with receipts and documented deposits. Don't get lazy just because it's only a rental. Here's the trap most foreigners fall into. They think that because they signed contracts, hired lawyers, and have a folder full of official-looking papers, they're safe. Wrong. Thailand doesn't care about what you signed. If the foundation of the deal violates the law, you can't contract your way into land ownership. You can't paper over nominee structures. You can't use fancy English contracts to override the land code. I've seen guys spend 200,000 baht on legal fees just to find out their entire setup was illegal from day one. Klaus from our earlier story, he had lawyers review everything. Didn't matter. The structure was fundamentally illegal. You want security? It doesn't come from a contract. It comes from doing things 100% legal and boring. because in Thailand, the boring path is the only one that's safe. Look, I'm not trying to kill your dreams here, but I've lived in Thailand long enough to see the same patterns over and over. The guys who succeed with Thai property, they buy condos in good buildings, they follow the rules exactly, and they treat it like the complex international investment it is, not some bargain basement real estate deal. The guys who get wrecked, they chase the fantasy, they believe the marketing, they think they found some loophole that thousands of other foreigners missed. Here's the truth. If someone is promising you an easy way to own Thailand as a foreigner, they're either lying to you or they're about to make you an accessory to a crime. Thailand's not a real estate fantasy land. It's a real country with real laws. And if you treat it like a loophole playground, you're gonna lose. Badly. That's the real deal on property ownership here, man. Not the fantasy version you see on Instagram, not the promises from developers trying to separate you from your money, just the legal truth. If you're thinking about doing this, be smart, do your homework, and maybe consider whether renting long term might actually be the better play. Drop a comment if you've got property stories from Thailand, good or bad, and if this saved you from making a massive mistake, hit that like button and subscribe for more real talk. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one. Peace.